Welcome to episode 36. This is the Back Pew Podcast. My name is Will. This is Ethan Munoz, and together we make the Back Pew. This is episode 36, like I said, and this is going to be an unusual show. We have been apart for a little while. Last week's episode was with special guest Haley Munoz, which is Ethan's lovely wife. She held it down for the Back Pew community, and so we so appreciate that. So Ethan and I are going to catch up a little bit. If this is your first episode, let me tell you what we do. We have fun, and we talk about Christian things, and we talk about things happening in society. And so if you're down for that, then come, you're welcome. If not, please go to the next episode and don't put a thumbs down, okay?
Right, but don't let the door hit you on the way out, y'all.
Yeah, don't let the door hit you. What is it, the left foot of fellowship? Is that what it is? Is that what church people say?
I don't know. I'm not really a church person, so I don't know.
Touche. So yeah, this episode we're gonna try to catch up. I was in Mexico last week. Last week they had their
Mexico.
They had their. I went to Ethan and Erin's homeland.
Pretty good.
That was pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Producer Erin, just in case y'all hear this random lady in the background. That's not my wife.
No,
that's actually my sister, producer Erin. She's gonna be helping me and Will out.
We got the produce in the house.
God.
Hey, thank God. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, man. Let's see. You've produced the last 2 episodes.
The last one. Just the last
hey,
one.
by the way, I really I think it was 2 because she did one with me and then one with Haley, right?
Wrongo.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, whatever one, I liked it. So, and that's not just hogwash, but I thought it was 2. So anyway, if this is your first episode, we're going to catch up a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different edition of the show. We're going to kind of just fool around a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more, lackadaisical and not so much focused on the spiritual content, purpose, topic this time. So if that's what you're looking for, I hope that's what you're looking for. Then I ask you to go back to another episode, find one that you like, hit subscribe, and if not, just come back next week. I assure you we'll have something great for you. We are going to talk about something spiritual. We're just not exactly sure yet. We have a couple of topics. We'll see what we get there. We're not making any promises.
Yeah, we're going to play catch up, and then, hopefully our Christianity will shine through a little bit, and you'll get some spiritual content.
Yeah, I mean, we're Christians, right? So we're being Christians whether we're talking about Christian content or not, right? Dog. So anyway, listen, I do want to compliment you guys on the episode. Go enjoy the one with Haley in it. It was one for couples, in my opinion, but also if you want to see what it's like. I really loved just seeing you guys' relationship, the way you guys sort of not bickered, but went back and forth and had fun, but also were sincere. I could tell there was some deep love there. I could see there was a lot of, history there. You guys have obviously been together for a long time. So I really I was just in Mexico eating my breakfast in the morning, just enjoying it. And for the first time, I just got to come to the Back Pew and enjoy it from an outsider's perspective because I had nothing to do with the recording, nothing to do with the producing, none of it. So thanks to Erin once again. But it was nice. I'll tell you that. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. And clearly YouTube enjoyed it because there's a lot more views on that episode than any of our other ones except for the one with the Mecca. And if you don't know who a Mecca is, go check out that episode. It was pretty good.
Yeah, what is that, like 24 or 23?
Dude, I have no idea. I was trying to remember when I was.
That's a good episode, though. Go check it out.
Yeah, just type a Mecca. He's everywhere. He's been on Ellen, so kind of a big deal.
Claim to fame.
he told Ellen, that's how he got on the Ellen show. He's like, yeah, I was on the back pews, and they let him on. So. But anyway, so
call me Lauren Dangle. I'm out here on Ellen.
Dude, Lauren is my celebrity crush.
Really? Lauren, out of all the celebrities you could have a celebrity crush on, bro?
She's beautiful. She sings like an angel. Ever since that album dropped, like in 2014 or 15, I've been a big fan. And now to see her rise and her fame becoming so much larger than it was, I just see the way she's navigating business and the way she's growing and just how popular she is. I just love it. The only thing I don't like is I probably wouldn't like her if I knew her for real, but I like to enjoy my crush from afar, like a stalker would.
Yeah, you don't want to meet your heroes or your crushes. I got you.
That's what they say,
Lauren Dangle, she...
Daigle, bro. It's Daigle, right?
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. Dangle.
Not Dingleberry, yeah.
Not Dingleberry Dangle, like, on Lion King where he's like, man, I hate dangling. Like, that's Lauren Dangle.
Okay.
So
did you see the Lion King ever?
Beads on all of her Instagram posts and stuff.
And you know what
when
else?
She was helping The Voice. Guess what? Dangly dangles all over her. She was like...
She went on The Voice?
Yeah, she was a coach on The Voice for a second.
Lauren Daigle? The Christian girl?
Lauren Dangle. Oh, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. And The Voice is something I actually do kind of follow. Not religiously, but I do like it a lot.
No. Yeah, no. The only reason I watch The Voice is because it's like one of those only reality shows that me and Haley can agree on. I don't really get into American Idol.
Man, there's so much talent in the world that shows up on there.
Yeah.
And you know what else is? There's a lot of Christians on there, and they also like sing for God. It's really cool. And one of the things, I think
it was The Voice that came on there, and he started singing like the whole "There's power in the name of Jesus." It might have been American Idol.
No, that was The Voice. You're right.
That was The Voice.
Yeah.
It was a good performance, man. She brought the house down. She did good.
Oh, yeah. And I just really like to see, because I start following these people on Instagram because that's what I do. And so I get to see their journey behind the scenes. It makes the show more fun that way. Mm-hmm. And so I see these people reflect the love of Christ in their relationships, like in the business arena, in such a celebrity-driven / Hollywood type of arena where you don't often see Christian behavior or Christian values on display. So to see them do that, it just, I don't know, it sort of fills my heart. So yeah, man, The Voice is one of the shows that I've watched since day one, and all the coaches I really love, and I'm a big fan of that show. If I could go see them, like if I could go see that live, I definitely would.
I don't think there's any game show that I would go see live except maybe like a football game or a basketball game or a baseball game.
No game shows, buddy. None. And all the game shows are super trash these days. Ellen, Shazam, all of them are sort of cool. Like if you're flipping channels, you can watch it for a couple minutes, but nothing you just want to come back to.
And then you got to go to the next one. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of exhausting, so I'm with you on that. Hey, but shout out to Haley on the decorations back there. I see that. I see y'all doing the thing.
Nah, bro, this is me. This is all me. All me.
My bad. Shout out to you for those awesome decorations. Yeah, I should give you the credit anyway because Haley's never going to hear this.
Yeah. Remember we put her on the podcast? She's like, "You have a podcast?"
She was like, "Oh, I thought we were just talking."
Yeah, right. What?
Nah, so I like I said, I was gone last week because I was in Mexico, and that was tremendous. I want to tell you about it. I actually want to. I don't want to hear about it. I know, but I want to tell everyone about it anyway. I don't really want to talk about it from the perspective from my perspective. I want to tell you about it from the perspective of someday you should do this. Because
then I want to hear about it. Everybody wants to hear about it. Please tell us about it.
Okay, great. Thanks. I just really, the part I want to talk about is the all-inclusive. Have you ever heard of this? Like you can
I've heard the words all-inclusive before, yeah.
Me too, but I never really thought about what it means. It means everything is all-inclusive. Wow. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, bruh.
It's so weird,
thanks for
though.
visiting the Back Pew Ball. Everybody's gotten the value they need hearing about all-inclusive.
Listen, it's so weird. Listen, I felt like a peasant for like the first 3 days because I'm living this.
Dude, you are a peasant.
For sure. But I was living this kingly lifestyle for 6 days because whenever I walked in the room, they cared about you. They greeted you. They carried any stuff that you were carrying. They pulled the chair out. They put the napkin on your lap for you so you didn't have to do it. They covered your
crotch so that you wouldn't get food on it?
Correct, because I had linen pants on, and you wouldn't want to do that because kings wear linen, apparently. So, and they feed you grapes and fan you with leaves.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. But that's what it feels like because, and the reason I want to tell you about it is because literally for the first 3 days, it took me back. I've never done anything like this. It was so nice. It was a real resort, which by the way, I never even been to a resort. We hear words like all inclusive and resort, and then we don't even really think about what it really is like. But man, we got preferred, VIP preferred or whatever. So we like skipped to the head of the line. I don't drink it all, but all the people that were with my group, it was 30 of us from my job that got to go, and everything was paid for. And basically like all of them just got to go get free alcohol all the time. Well, it was free alcohol all the time anyway, everywhere. But this was like the best type of alcohol. And they had like
all
different
of Mexico?
Sushi.
Everywhere? All the time? Free alcohol?
Listen, we never even left the resort. Never once. It challenged. The reason I really wanted to share this with you is because it took me from a place in my mindset from like literally I joked about being a peasant, but to like a king. I felt like it challenged what I deserved. Right. And I'm a person, I've shared this with you and on the show. Like I've always believed I would be a millionaire. I've always had pretty decent self-worth and value. And so for me to go experience this, like I could go in any nice dinner. You had to dress. Like I got sent away for wearing a tank top to breakfast one day because there was a dress code. That was the only thing. Dang. Yeah, like you can't wear a tank top. You have to wear like long pants at night. You have to dress nice. And there was all these really nice.
Excuse me, senor. You must wear.
Oh, they would say, "Oh, this was my favorite thing." They said, "It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure."
Pleasure.
So
pleasure.
I've been joking about it for like a week, and my mom says, "How do you say it?" I say glacier, but pleasure. Glacier. and then for those of you that follow me on social, I have that orange old school Adidas like Gilligan hat. My dad called me Senior Gilligan. It was hilarious.
That's how they say you're welcome at Chick-fil-A when there's a Mexican that like has a really thick accent.
It is my pleasure.
My pleasure.
You do that really well.
Well, es porque yo hablo español. Yo lo puedo hacer.
Pretty good.
Okay.
So listen, it's funny because I like nice things. I buy nice things for myself. I don't hold back.
You bougie. You fancy, huh?
I'm not quite
fancy,
bougie,
huh?
But this place was bougie for sure, and so it challenged.
You get your nails done, don't you?
I got them done. Well, I got my feet done for Mexico because I couldn't have my feet looking nasty. Well, I just really wanted to take my mom. And my mom is 69 years old, and I took her for her very first pedicure 2 weeks ago. It broke my heart, and she's never had one. I took her the other day. It broke my heart. Wow. Like somebody at work took me like 2 months ago, and it was my first one. It was super weird. I never would have went by myself, but they were going to Hawaii, and they were like, "Oh, you've never had it done," so I had it, and I actually enjoyed it. But it wasn't so much the part that I enjoyed it. I really just thought my feet looked better, and now that I've had them done, and I'm noticing other people, I'm like, dang, people's feet are nasty, bro.
Dude, for real. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever subjugate somebody to clean my feet.
Could you teach me a word? This is the segment where you teach me a word. What does that mean?
Oh, subjugate?
Yeah. What's that?
It's like make somebody do it. Like I'm going to make you. So I'm gonna subject you to whatever I'm gonna like.
Oh,
make
subjugate.
You do. Like,
I see. I should have caught that. Well, so you're saying you would never pay someone to do it?
You ain't got no hands, man. You ain't got no hands. So
you're saying you would never pay someone to do it?
I wouldn't subjugate nobody to, even if they were like, "Oh, we'll do it for free." You know, boo honey, we do for free. You know, I'm like, no.
It's pretty amazing, man. I'll tell you. Listen, you should take out Erin, Haley, and your lovely mother, and you should go get it done yourself just to experience it once in your life. I think you'll like it. Your wife will probably appreciate your feet to be nicer, and Erin and Haley would probably appreciate it, and your mom. So
just nah.
You too bougie to subjugate somebody from cleaning your feet?
It's not about yeah, kind of. I have too high of a standard for myself. I don't want nobody to make me clean their feet, so I'm not gonna make nobody clean mine. You know.
Well, we can move past this, but I would say anyone that thinks like that is really. You should never let your feelings be placed on someone else.
You know what? You're right. Jesus cleaned his disciples' feet. I'll clean somebody else's feet, but I ain't gonna make nobody clean my feet. I ain't gonna like if Jesus was like, "Hey, Ethan, I'm gonna clean your feet," I'd be like, "Yeah, well, you're holy, so just touch it real quick, like make my feet pretty." But yeah, anybody but Jesus, I probably wouldn't let him.
But it's funny. I'll just tell you, the point I want to end with on the Mexico trip is it was super nice. I'm super grateful for my job to taking me. But the thing is that I wanted to share with everybody is you have to learn to receive, because I was really taken back by like 3 days. For 3 days, that's half my trip. I was gone for 6 days. For 3 days, because I could get dinner. I would order 2 dinners sometimes at night. There was a 24/7 hour coffee shop, 24/7 whatever.
24/7 hour.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew I said it wrong, but just to go in and you aren't even required to tip. You wouldn't. I never really knew when to tip, when not to tip. Like we would take golf carts everywhere. It was strange. But the thing is it reminded me of when I was early on coming into my new lifestyle with Christ. I remember being in a car with a bunch of people, and a couple of leaders were in the van, and I tried to get in the back, and someone said, "Get up front, Will." And I said, "No, you're the leader. You get up front." And he said, "No, I'm deferring to you. Like I'm yielding to you. I'm preferring my brother. You sit in the front. I want you to, even though I'm the leader, I want to honor you. I want you to sit in the front." And I just had a hard time with it. And I was like, no, that's not my place. And he was like, "Will, you need to learn to receive and humble yourself and accept gifts." And ever since then, I've really learned to do it. But this is the first time in almost 10 or 11 years that I've had any trouble receiving something good given to me. And, man, I don't know. It just something that I would challenge people to think about is, do you feel worthy enough to accept good things in your life? Because I think that if you don't, you will stop certain blessings from coming into your life because you don't think you're worthy enough of it. And I've thought that I was pretty worthy of a lot of things, but whenever I was faced with such a nice gift, it actually caused me to react different than I anticipated. So it was odd.
I mean, yeah, but didn't you work for that trip? So I mean,
oh, of course. I mean, I definitely earned it as far as all of that, but it was just so nice. So anyway, there's that, and while I was gone, I guess the summer left, and now it's fall season, as now you can see on. Yeah, it's not cold yet though.
Yeah. I decorated my dining room, so now y'all know it's cold time. Cold time in the city.
That's what we should name this episode. Cold time.
Cold time in the city. Cold time on the back.
I'm pretty excited about fall season. How about you?
Don't care.
I think fall time is the season that teaches us to let things go. I read that on Instagram.
I know you did. I was about to say something about you following a Twitter account that says something like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, fall time is definitely my favorite season. Summer is great. I have a great tan. I'm darker than I ever have been. Not ever, but like I have been in years. So that was fun. But I'm excited for fall clothing, for fall weather. Man,
Are you a sweater guy? You're a sweater guy.
I can do sweaters. I like vest. I also like vest. I've been told that I look sexy in sweaters before.
She was lying to you, bro.
I don't think she was lying. I just think she was mistaken.
She was telling the truth. She just didn't know what she was talking
about. You know what I mean? So... Hey, but listen, speaking of fall time and more clothes, different clothings, did you hear about what happened a couple of days ago, a.k.a. yesterday, but on the podcast come out a couple of days ago? The Free the Nipple movement got approved, and now it is legal to walk around. Actually, but the thing is, hashtag Free the Nipple, and so it's an equality issue. And so today, I was thinking about it because I actually did my workplace is right by the Jinx High School. And so all the high school students that are in track or whatever it is, all the people that run, and all the dudes run with no shirts on. And these guys are in high school. And I'm like, oh, it is a privilege to be able to take your shirt off and enjoy, not being so hot in your clothes. And so I was like, I guess maybe there is a point, of equality.
I don't know. I feel like it's a privilege to be sexy. I don't really think it's a privilege to, because like, bro, if I got a big gut, I'm not going to pull it out and let it hang south and start running around, and it just, I'm going to put something girthy on so I can hold it together while I try to lose weight. And I don't know that, so I feel like if you got, ladies, if it's going to be bouncing around and causing you some back pain, because that's why you wear bras in the first place, right? And practically they hold up the weight that, wasn't there when you were a kid.
I mean, I think you're assuming
that keep it on while you're running because it's gonna be bouncing around. Like,
yeah, but you are assuming that people that are running are doing it because they're overweight and trying to lose it. A lot of people do.
No. I'm saying the people that run with no shirts on, they don't have nothing flapping around, and if they do, let's be modest and not men and women.
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know. I'm just
a fan of modesty. That's all. It's not equality for me. It's equal modesty for me.
Oh, so I guess let me ask you this. Should men have to wear shirts all the time?
I don't think anybody should have to wear anything all the time. It's just modesty. Just be modest. If you're going to the pool, whatever. But if you're going, if you're in high school and you're going to be running, play it safe.
I don't know. Let's ask the woman in the room. Erin, what do you think? There's no
woman in the room. She's just a producer, bro.
No, she's a woman. I want to know.
I mean, I
on the nipple.
I sort of lean towards my brother, I guess, where it's like I think everybody should be modest. More, like, you're in public, dude. Put a shirt on. I say that whenever it's like a good looking guy. Like, sure, you might look good, but like put your shirt on, bro. Like, I'm not trying to see that right now. And so I feel like everybody should just be kind of modest,
Just play it safe.
Just play it safe. And plus, I don't think it like. They want to be equal and stuff and everything, and like that's fine in a perfect world where there aren't people that aren't going to try and like I mean, just today I tried to go to the park and I had to like think extra about what I was wearing because I'm going to be in the park in a place where I don't have any friends or anything. I'm going alone. And so you have to be mindful of who's around and who may be around. And like, yeah, guys don't have to think about that usually, but I don't think that the answer to that is to make yourself more naked. That's like adding grease to a fire. That doesn't do anything.
Right. That's adding water to a grease fire. But yeah, and when you and I when we were talking about this particularly, that's what the whole thing, the state representative lady was like, this is going to make those people who were thinking about being sexually assaulted or thinking about doing a sexually assault, whatever, sexual offenders, sex offenders, those people, it's going to embolden them because, nipples, so it's, I don't know, just, you gotta play it safe and, put a shirt on, put a bra on. I don't know, guys, it's different when you're in high school. You're trying to show off. You're trying to be like, oh, look at all this muscle. So, I mean, I get that, but so Will, I'm getting the vibe that you maybe don't agree with me. How do you feel about it? I mean,
no, listen, I think it's totally stupid. I think if women want to fight for equality, then they have every right to. I think there are some equality issues that I don't have to experience. I'm not aware of. I have no idea what it's like for women in the workplace or anywhere. But I feel where they're coming from, or I want to feel where they're coming from. But I think it's the wrong fight. I mean, if you want to fight for equality, then fight for equality in other ways. I don't think that having your nipples out, is the right way to go or something that's worth fighting for. And maybe it's just the general principle. I'm a principle guy. I'll walk away or do things based on principle alone, not because I really need to do it or not want to have to do it. So if you want to fight to have your nipples out but never have your nipples out, great, because then now you actually have the option to do it. I'm fine with that. But like today we had a guy come in and interview with us as a Strong Family, and he works at Verizon currently, and he said a woman came in his location yesterday in this Verizon store with no shirt on, nothing. And so it's like, what is the point? And I think to you guys' kind of point, it's like, you're just going to draw more attention to yourself. It's only going to cause more problems. Exactly. Like, I think that, like I said, I think it's just the wrong fight. I'm reading this book right now. It's called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Convoy or Corvey or something like that. And however you say his name.
Don't give the author a shout out if you don't know how to say his name.
Listen, it's just Stephen C. whatever. So, but it's a proven book. It's a fire book. It's something that's been around a long time, and now he just came out with a new one. But I'm reading the first one, and basically he says something like, and I don't know if John Maxwell says this or he says it, but basically they say, you don't want to climb the ladder of success and then realize once you get to the top that your ladder was on the wrong building. And I think that this is sort of that. Like, I think you're fighting for the right thing.
That's a bar right there, bro.
I love it, right? But I think you're maybe fighting for the right issue, but you're not fighting for the right, doing it in the right way. And it's funny, like I commented on a girl that works with me, and she was like, this is a win for women. And I wasn't like really trying to get into a serious thing. I'm not trying to change people's minds on the internet, and neither should anyone else, because it doesn't work. But I just said something, kind of casual, and I was like, I think this is kind of strange, but whatever. That's all I commented on her post. And she said, and somebody else, some other guy said something along the same spirit of, heart that I said. And she was like, says the two guys that have always been able to have their nipples out in public, And I was just like, I don't know.
Man, I used to get dirty looks from my nipples, bro.
Listen, I got pictures of my nipples everywhere from Mexico. My nipples don't need to be seen by anybody, okay? So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a dude. I like nipples, you know what I mean? But, like, I just think that this is, especially for Christians, and I do mean nipples on ladies, okay? But...
yeah, you're talking about your dog, like a dog's nipple, I mean,
no. I'm a dude. I like nipples.
You should just put
he ain't lying. Back to you, he ain't lying. Dude, I like nipples, man. Dude. I just didn't say it first. I'm just going to, piggyback off of what you said.
So I don't know, man.
I will tell you, I'm glad that didn't affect Texas. I'm glad they ain't, it's still public indecency or whatever for. Texas
but at the same time, I'll tell you, I gave it a
size nipples. You know,
I gave it a lot of thought, right? Because back in the day, I used to go to Florida all the time at spring break, and women flashing all the time. That happens on spring break. That's what people do. Girls gone wild, etc. And I remember being at Florida, and a girl that I was with was flashing people going down the strip, and she got like a $25 or $50 fine for whatever it's called, public nudity or whatever. I guess, who is it hurting? Let's talk about that. I think it's hurting men because men are tempted. I think it's hurting women because it's probably going to draw attention to them that they don't want.
Right, and probably hurting them little kids that their mom is like, no, you can't be doing that. And the kid's like, Mom, what's that? And they're like, these are mine, but we're not supposed to show them. You just caught me in the bathroom at a bad time, and then it's probably hurting the younger girls who see him, and, for one of several reasons that are pretty obvious. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's funny. I don't have any.
It's very counterproductive.
Listen, this sort of falls in. I think this falls into, maybe this is something that I haven't considered. Because listen, I didn't even know that this was a movement. This has been going on for years, from what I read, and this was like a big deal.
Is it a movement?
It's a real movement. Free the nipple is a movement that's been happening for a long time. And matter of fact,
is that like the ladies that dress up in the suit of the lady part? And march down the.
I have no idea.
That's connected to that. Is it connected to it, or is it just like it?
They're all like the whole feminist. It's all.
Oh, so this is a feminism, baby.
Yes, it all links into feminism, and it's women hating men because they can do something that they don't want, that they can't, that the law says that they can't.
Even though the majority of women probably don't even want to do that.
Exactly.
Well, shout out to.
The majority of women don't even call themselves feminists.
Shout out to Erin, because it was her first and last episode, because everyone hates her now.
Gang, right? Gang.
Shout out to the first and last time listeners as well. We certainly lost some listeners this week, so shout out to.
We told you to fast forward 30 minutes. This is not the 30-minute mark that we meant. So
nope.
Just back up a little bit.
But I do want to say one of the serious things I just thought of, because I was saying I've never really thought about this because I didn't know it was a thing until a couple of days ago. But I guess this might also fall into the category of breastfeeding in public. That's always an issue.
Yeah, and that's different.
Is it? It's still the same thing.
Yeah. No, it's different because that's sustaining life. It's like if an old dude falls, or people will dookie on themselves when they die. So like say some you're just in a restaurant, you're eating, some dude dies, has a heart attack and dies, and he dukes on himself. And I mean, are people gonna be like, oh, he pooped himself? Well, like with the paramedic, you're not gonna let find the family because they didn't get him out of there. It's just I don't know. That's a medical thing. That's like feeding your babies. That's like crying babies. If you're in a place where babies shouldn't be, maybe don't breastfeed there. But if you're in a place that allows babies to be there and cry and fuss and run around, let the lady do what she got to do. Okay.
Well, so
I would still recommend practicing decency and having a cover just because
exactly.
To play it safe.
I don't understand why women are so hell bent on letting their boob hang out. Like, do you want me to look at you while you breastfeed your kid? Then cover it up. I don't understand. I don't understand why that's what we fight for.
Exactly. The girls who fight to have it out get mad when you look at it. It's like, well, then what'd you bring it out for? And they're like, there's other purposes for it. I was like, well, you don't have a baby, so put it up. Like, I don't. What's the other purpose for it? Like scientifically, there's no other purpose for it.
You and Erin just said that it's a feminist baby. I think it's a liberal baby too. Maybe that's the same thing.
Yeah, those are hand in hand.
Here's how.
Speaking of liberals,
go ahead. Well, let me say,
okay, no. Finish thought, because we're going down another rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, liberals on the back. Just quickly, it's funny. It's like how I know it's liberal when it doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't, like, oh, this must be liberal because it makes no common sense. Please share your thoughts. I don't get it.
No. Speaking of liberals, I was gonna ask you because I know you're in Mexico, and we're going into this week. You're coming back. You've been paying attention to this Trump impeachment thing?
No. And my mom said, "Have you been paying attention to this witch hunt?" And I said, "No, Mom. Why? I don't care, and nor can I do anything about it." And when I said that, I forgot I could pray, but at the same time,
we're not Christians on the back pew. Yeah, we don't pray.
Well, I was on vacation. But no, what's been going on? I actually do need to be updated, and so does everyone else on this podcast. So tell us. By the way, Ethan is our political correspondent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, are you paying attention to it? Because you're not really the political one out of the two of us, But, and really, Trump he's been in all the news. We have like 10 solid episodes where we don't really talk about Trump on this podcast. When I think props for us, we kind of found our niche.
Yeah, true.
But when we were finding our niche, we talked a lot about current events, mostly about current events. And so we haven't really talked about Trump since we kind of found our niche, and we'll mention some stuff here and there. But just because we quit talking about him doesn't mean that I wasn't like paying attention to what he was doing or things that were happening in the political realm. But this one's kind of big because people that don't usually mention Trump or politics and things like that, they're saying, this is pretty bad for Trump. What's going on? So basically, the basic rundown is back in the summertime, earlier this summer, Trump, who is running for president, he's running for re-election, got on the phone with the president of Ukraine. And in the Ukraine, there was like, I don't know if it was already ongoing. There was a criminal investigation. I don't know if it was already ongoing or if they're saying that he pressured the president of Ukraine into starting a criminal investigation into this one company. And
on a phone call?
Yeah, over a phone call.
Okay. See, that's all I know.
DC or wherever he is. Yeah, it's about a phone call, right? That's Trump phone call. Yeah,
got it.
Whatever. But the big thing is that because the reason that his accusers are saying he made that pressure was because one of the beneficiaries of the company was Joe Biden's son, and Joe Biden, in case you don't know, at the time was the front runner of the Democratic Party running against President Trump for election as president. The thing is,
tell us what the thing is.
The thing is, the people who are against Trump are just so maniacal.
Tell us what that word means.
They're maniacs.
Okay, I like
and
this.
Not maniacs on the floor. Maniac. No, sorry, 80s reference. Producer Erin looking at me all dirty. She probably gonna.
No, don't cut
I thought it was a good song reference.
Cut us and then put the song in.
No, yeah, I thought it was a good song reference. I mean, my shirt says gringo. Gringos aren't gringos unless they reference 80s music. Come on. So white people.
Yeah, white people.
White people. Hashtag backpee white people. But the thing is, they're people who are against Trump are crazy. I mean, I really think that they're all, Beto O'Rourke, AOC, Ocasio-Cortez or whatever, the Ilhan Omar. They're just all, and then this dude Nader, who's one of the senators. I'm smarter than I talk sometimes. Sometimes, specifically. I really think that they're playing to get Trump reelected. I mean, they can't all be that dumb. Like, they can't all believe the dumb things that they say, because it's a crazy world. Because what they're doing is they're trying to impeach him because he did something that wasn't wrong, just maybe a little sketchy from a business standpoint. 2, he had full legal precedence to do it because back when Biden, his opponent, quote unquote, that he was trying to sabotage, quote unquote, that guy actually approved the deal with Ukraine when he was VP. When Biden was vice president, he approved a deal with Ukraine that said we can investigate criminal acts in each other's countries to an extent. But, with the approval of the executive branch of each country, we can investigate criminal acts in that other country. So Trump could have actually went so far to say as far as to say, hey, I'm going to send the FBI over there and investigate this. He could have done that, but he didn't. Moreover, the kicker for the people who are accusing Trump of saying trying to sabotage Joe Biden and all this stuff, they're saying that he held, I think it's either 50 million or 500 million. It's millions and millions of dollars that we would have been giving Ukraine in aid, and Trump took it off the table because the president of Ukraine wouldn't investigate Biden's son's company people, right? Trump saying that happened before he mentioned Biden to the president of Ukraine. And, that's kind of a moot point because of the legal precedents of we can investigate in your country and you can investigate in ours. And then even the kicker for me was today on C-SPAN, which is the news station for Congress, okay? nationally recorded. This is the kind of like these are the proceedings where they have the typewriter people in the court and they're like
stenographers
copying all the. What? You just taught me a
word. $20 word. Will in the house,
dude.
We should call this episode
the Backpew vocabulary. Anyway, no. So like in official Congress proceedings, they're questioning a citizen, a business person or whatever, and the leader of the council begins to quote unquote read some of the transcript. A congressional representative from California lied on the stand and got called out in the same meeting, and things just kind of went about how they were because people don't care. People are too busy, and I don't blame them because sometimes I'm busy. I mean, whatever. Huh?
Because it's a witch hunt.
Hashtag witch hunt.
Am I wrong?
No, you're no. I mean, no, I don't know. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's witch hunt because. I mean, I guess because they're looking for a witch, and then when they find one, they try to kill it, even though it's not real. So yeah, you're right. I don't know. It's just it's crazy. But the thing that it made me think of, even before I saw that clip, was this. I don't remember his name, but he works for Joel Osteen at Lakewood Church. And on his Instagram, he was like, he had one of those fancy little images with the fancy text that I can't seem to master, whatever. Jealous. It said, opportunity is, what did it say? Producer Erin, what did it say?
I don't know.
Google it.
All right. It said, yeah, let me find it up on Instagram.
I'll find it.
No, it said opposition is opportunity, and opposition is an opportunity. And
I seen you reposted that somewhere.
I did. I was like, man, this is good. And actually, at first, I was like, nah, that's too in the fields. That's too happy church, whatever. And then I was like, I started thinking about it. I was like, that's actually spot on, And then all this Trump stuff, and it just keeps escalating as we get closer to the election. And everybody's like, man, what if he loses? Even if they aren't as bad as we all like to, on the conservative side, like to think that the liberals are, the left is, it's still going to reverse. They're just going to be reversing what he did for 3 years, wasting all that time. So it's just I don't know, it's just kind of crazy. But yeah, it just made me think about all that and how for Christians it's true. An opposition, an opposing force, a challenge, that's an opportunity to be victorious, to overcome. And I just want to make something clear. The reason I thought about it in the political realm is because we all think of, say you believe in Jesus, but you're liberal in your social ideas and your political ideology, or vice versa. You're a Christian and you are conservative in your political ideology or whatever. You think of the opposition, by definition and from political textbook, opposition are the people who are on the other side of the spectrum. They believe the opposite of what you believe. So that's what you think. You're kind of ingrained to think that's what opposition is. But for the Christian, that's not opposition. The Bible says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Okay? It says that we wrestle against principalities and powers in the air. So these dark forces, and not to get all mystical, but that's what it says. So I didn't write it. But what's the opposition look like? If we're both Christians, we both believe in Jesus, but you believe a different political idea than I do. So where's that dark force? That dark force is in the hate. That dark force is in the anger and the fear. That's what that dark force is. And so that opposition that's coming against you isn't the left coming against the right or the right coming against the left. It's that dark force of hate and anger and fear. That's the dark force that's opposing you. That's the challenge. That's the opportunity. That's the opportunity for you to respond in peace, by having peace in your life and not letting people get you all riled up if you're kind of an angry person, or get you all upset because you're scared of what if Trump stays, what if Trump leaves. Wow. Like, don't give into that back pew, because this is an opportunity for you to overcome, not to overcome the Democrats, not to overcome the Republicans, not to overcome America. If you're not from around here and you're listening, not to overcome Red China, the people, Hong Kongers. I haven't heard anything about the protests and stuff, but it was pretty heated there for a second. That opportunity it might be coming from the situation with China, but it's not. You don't have an opportunity. That opposition isn't, China per se, if you're a Christian. It's the dark forces that are coming against you to make you fear and things like that, make you fear and be angry and hateful. Because that, if you give into that stuff, that disconnects you from the Lord. And if you overcome it, you've taken advantage of your opportunity, used your faith to stay on top. And that's what we're supposed to do. Nick Nilsson, that's who it was. Nick Nilsson, never heard him preach, but his Instagram presence is good. I like the little quotes that he puts up. Opposition is opportunity. How about that? Bars on the back pew.
Lots of bars on the back pew. You know, sometimes I glaze over a little bit with the politics stuff. It's like another language almost. It's like I don't know what you're saying, so I try to tune in, but it's like super tough.
Is it like Shikabaha?
It's very similar, except for no power. But listen, as long as we're encouraging people with this information, and I think you did, and you gave a little bit of backstory of why what we were talking about is important, I think it's fine. It's not my favorite subject, but this is what we do. We bring societal issues and we talk about it because I think our passion since the beginning has always been, let's talk about stuff that isn't really talked about freely in the pulpit, because this is stuff that affects us on a day-to-day, and this is where we live. So in a podcast platform we can be free to talk about whatever. Pulpit is definitely for the preaching of the word, and we actually what God's been speaking to me lately is include me, stay tuned into my voice, stay tuned into my spirit, stay close to the flow of my spirit in everything you do at work. It's not you go to work, you go to do work, and then you come home and then you step into your prayer closet and go into the secret place. It's no. Wake up in the morning, step into the secret place. You live with God because God is living in you. He walks with you. He goes before you. He's your rear guard. So God is omnipresent. He's omnipotent, and he's all powerful. And so God is everywhere. And so with that being the case, like, it's not like you visit with him in your bedroom in the privacy of your home and then you go to work and leave him there and then come home and let him out, or you go in that room. It's right. And so what God has been reminding me in my own personal time lately is, don't forget to walk and talk with me throughout the day and include him in everything, and make sure that your intentions and your motivations and your ambitions stay holy, not meaning like everything has to be ministry, but meaning everything is born out of your love for God, and everything's flowing out of the abundance of your heart from that secret place. And but the pulpit's often not used for that. So I that's one of the reasons I love our outlet is we can talk about things that aren't. And so, yeah, man. It's funny, today I was looking at the time hop and it showed the memories, and it showed in 2016 tonight, 3 years ago in 2016, Trump and Hillary were going against each other. Like, they had started to, they had started their campaigns, and tonight, 3 years ago, was the first time that they ever faced off one-on-one, I believe. And so it just reminded me. And also, when I was thinking about that, I was reminded of when President Obama was, I remember being in college, sitting there, like, listening to the instructor, but being so distracted because I was watching my phone on notifications, like what was going on, because it was a poll night. And I remember I went over to the NRC that night, and there was like a event for young adults, and basically we sat over there until like 10 or 11 at night whenever they announced that President Obama won. And I just remember being so, like, sort of devastated, because it was so unbelievable to me that he would be elected a second time. And and so, but it really tried to shake me. What?
Why
was that bothering me?
Well, why was it unbelievable? He was kind of a shoo-in.
I don't know. Maybe I was just naive, bro. I think that
kind of just hoping that it wouldn't happen.
I couldn't. Yeah, I didn't think that he would win the first time, so I didn't think he would win the second time. And I think that's probably how people feel about Trump. Like, I can't believe he won, and now when he wins again, people are gonna think, oh, that he's been such an idiot this whole 4 years. So he's definitely not gonna win again.
Insert meme of that chick crying and out loud. You know what I'm talking about? That liberal chick that's. I guess she's a liberal, but she was like in the protest when he got elected.
Did she have her nipples out?
Literally.
Yes.
No, she didn't have her nipples out. Will.
I mean, that you said she was liberal, and I thought maybe that helped you figure it out. I don't know.
That one liberal with the nipple. You know,
there's definitely no Republicans with their nipples out. But hey, in all reality, free the nipple sounds pretty cool. Like it has a good ring to it.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, if you're going to market them,
it has a cool ring to it too. But
it does. But I mean, I agree with it, except for the part where abortion's involved.
See, just because it sounds cool doesn't mean it is cool, bro.
But listen, yeah, man. So I'm glad that you're passionate about it. It's funny. I think one thing I'm reminded of whenever you get into your zone about politics, and just because I really try, not only because I've really been on this journey to become more knowledgeable and have a greater understanding of politics, and I really started with President Obama whenever he became the president. I really started to try to learn more, and especially with Trump, I think this entire country has become more political. Just the nature of our country is really kind of changed and elevated in politics in general, I believe. But so it's funny, like whenever I hear you talk about it, I really try to learn, and because we're friends, I listen to it even more intent, and then because we're doing the show, I listen to it even with more intention. And it's like, even with that, all that being like involved, I still like sort of glaze over. It's like I just don't care sometimes because I just genuinely like am stupid. I think I'm not saying like I don't care. I'm just saying it's hard for me to digest. It's a lot, but especially when I hear someone like you speak about it, or like I listen to Sharpie, Ben Shapiro. I listen to these guys speak, and I'm like, man, like the way that you guys communicate about it, you guys have a good understanding about it. You have real feelings about it. It's just like so real in you. And so, yeah, man, I think it's good that we talk about it, even if it's not our favorite subject, because one thing's for sure is I used to be, even though I'm still not that excited about it all, I know it's important. And I think just because you're not excited about it doesn't mean that you get to be ignorant or you get to turn a blind eye just because you don't care about it or it's not your favorite subject. We need to talk about it. And one thing's for sure, I may regret this statement, but I'm glad that whatever's been happening with our country in the political realm, it's also been intertwining with the church, because whenever I first really got passionate about the Lord, it seemed like it was off limits to talk about anything political in the church. No leader was speaking freely about these things, and now leaders are pretty vocal about political issues, and I'm glad, because like we stated a moment ago, it's like these things are important because they are in our day-to-day lives, and just because it's not the word doesn't mean we shouldn't be talking about it because we're believers. So,
right. And I think I wasn't alive in the 60s. I wasn't alive in the 70s. I was born in 93. I didn't really start to even think about anything until I was going into high school, and it was just because all my friends were talking about it because that was the first black president. So we were all talking about it. I mean, we stayed up late, and it was like it was beginning of 9th grade for me, or 8th grade or something. I don't know. But
I was in college.
Yeah, because you're super old.
Yeah, didn't your wife call me Grandpa Will in the last episode? I got you, Haley.
Get over there with your walker, boy. Get over there with your walker.
See, I could say something foul, but I won't, because I love Jesus.
Yeah, because you're a good Christian, man. You don't say things foul. You don't say foul things, man.
True.
Don't say that.
I'm not, but I really want to. Listen, I'm done with politics. I think we covered that. Let's be a little bit spiritual. I think we're wrapping up, but I just want to ask you, what has the Lord been speaking to you lately? And then we can shut it down until next week, and I look forward to that.
Just patience, really. And the only reason I have that answer that quick, because if you'd have asked me 2 or 3 days ago, I probably wouldn't have had an answer for you. I would have, just made something up. But no, for
this
real,
is where
because
we keep it super real on the back view.
Yeah, this is where we
maybe a month or two ago, Ethan said, "Yeah, I think we should just talk about whatever the Lord's been talking to us about." And I was like, "Yeah, don't ask me that because I ain't been listening."
I don't know what he's been saying.
What have you been reading in the Bible? No, I haven't. But and by the way, you haven't been doing a great job of keeping me accountable. I've followed.
You were on vacation.
No, which I did read the Bible, just not every day when I was there. But I have.
Was it in Spanish?
No, but I have been reading a lot of Bible plans, which
El Señor es mi pastor.
Which I want to commit to. I don't know how long we'll talk about it, but I would like to talk about it next episode, just at least briefly, why we should read the Bible and not just lean on devotionals. And that's something I want to discuss next week.
That's that good subject right there. Producer Erin, put it on the docket. But putting all the clowning aside, what I've been getting from the Lord is hurry up and wait. Really, I got
man,
it's frustrating. Like Haley even told me, she was like, "You seem like you're mad," and I'm like, "I am a little bit because I got these things on the burners, but I don't. It's okay. I'm cool with waiting if I know when I'm going to be done waiting."
Yeah, you know I get it, but that's not the way the Lord works. I totally understand that. I don't want to talk about that next week. So, producer Erin, hurry up and wait about your life.
I feel like there are some things that are kind of coming to a head in my life right now.
Zits or what?
Not zits. That's just stress, bro. That's nothing about hurry up and wait. Speaking of zits, I actually did mention to Haley, I was like, should I wear makeup? And she was like,
hilarious.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. Not that many people watch our YouTube, so they're not even gonna.
Bougie. Hey, but you know what? I'm glad you shared that because it makes me know that you take this serious.
I do take it serious, and then I had to like dumb it down a little bit because I'm like, I'm not Will. I don't need to take it that serious.
Listen, I never have had acne. I don't really deal with many zits. I've had a few in my life, obviously, but I have like one right here.
Might have been all the
I have
cocaine.
one right here. Oh, definitely when I was doing coke and crystal, it was happening all the time. But I had one right here that I definitely scratched off pretty intently before the show because I was like, ooh, I don't want that. I took a selfie earlier.
Nah.
I took a selfie earlier to catch my shirt, which I'm going to post on Instagram later, and I was like, ooh, that close up on my face got the zit. Dang. So I just feel
it's
you.
That fancy camera on your iPhone 11.
Hey, the camera is fire, but proceed with patience.
Sorry. But there's like three things: a job thing, a ministry thing, another job thing, and it's just like, I say, oh yeah, I'm interested, or I want to pursue this, or whatever, and then I'm just waiting on somebody to get back to me, and I'm like, no, I don't want to wait. Like, let's talk right now, and and it happens. Everything's fine. It's just I'm learning. I'm starting to realize that the things that I want to do, the people that I want to reach, sometimes, they're going to have to wait on me. I'm going to have to wait on them. And we all have to wait on the Lord. And that looks different in every situation. But that's probably what the Lord's been dealing with me the most is patience. And I think it's in Peter, 1 Peter or 2 Peter, that's talking about let patience have her perfect work. And it starts talking about how good your faith could be.
Yeah.
And in contrast, when he starts talking about things like that, that means that sometimes your faith ain't that good.
Or it could it could just be better.
Right. Well, yeah, it needs work, and there's always room for improvement.
And that scripture says,
sometimes you might,
so that you're perfect and missing or lacking nothing.
That's just really what the Lord's been dealing with me about. Just getting, if I want more faith, if I want bigger faith, if I want stronger faith. Part of that, a big part of it is going to be patience and endurance. So that's kind of what it's been for me in my personal time. What about you, Will? You pray at all?
I have been praying. I would have liked to. I'll be honest. I struggle a little bit more than I used to with my prayer life because when I used to live by myself or I was with people that were in Bible school, it made it easier for me to feel freer to pray, and I would pray louder and freer and longer. I definitely include God in my life and walk with him. But yeah, as far as lately, like I said, the Lord's been talking to me about making sure my ambitions are born from, a holy place, not just, basically, I think the ladder on the right building thing, because I can, I can climb. It's similar to what you're saying. I feel like the Lord's saying, hurry up and wait as well. But not that he's been teaching me about patience, but it's just like I have been trying for a decade now to step into full-time ministry, as I've spoken about on this podcast before. And I just feel like I'm struggling with this thing where I'm coming to terms where I need to just trust God in the process for him to get me to where he wants me to be, and also keeping the vision and what I want to do in my heart, you know what I mean? Because I'm not doing exactly what I believe I will do in the future, but I can't let that out of my sight. But also I have to, you know what I mean? Keep those. Does that make sense? Like keep them at the same time.
You got to balance. So, you got to balance the present with the future.
So I'm just I feel like the Lord's been like correcting my path. It's almost like sin is really just missing the mark. And so anytime you go out and use a gun or, you use a scope, you need to realign those sights. And I just feel like what the Lord's been doing in me lately is on a lot of different fronts is he's been making sure my scopes are in line, correcting them, making sure that even though it looks like I'm about to hit the target because it's in my sights right in the cross hairs, right? It looks like it's right on, but whenever I shoot, I might miss because my scope is off. So I feel like the Lord's been tweaking those things in my heart and in my thinking about different areas of life. And I think it has a lot to do with my ambitions or my plans, like Proverbs 16, commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. Seek the kingdom of God above all else, and God will give you these, everything that you need. Here's a quote that I from one of my Bible readings a couple of days ago that I've been kind of holding on to. It says, faith and ambition are meant to coexist, and that happens when your work is motivated for your love for God. Work done with holy intention seeks God's will, demonstrates love for God, and submits to the guidance of the Holy Spirit. And so, good for you if you spend time in the secret place in the privacy of your own home. But don't just keep him there. Make sure that you're walking and talking, and including him throughout the day. Whenever you're walking upstairs and it's just you, whenever you're in that elevator, tell him that you love him. Ask him, use me today. Let me hear your voice. You're probably going to be saying those things to God in your own personal prayer time before, but whenever you do it during the day, it sort of helps you reconnect, helps you realign those sights throughout the day, and keeps his presence at the forefront of your life and that's how you're going to stay in the right positioning in your heart to be used by God. It's how you're going to have the right answers in certain moments. It's how you're going to find creativity in the moments. My job, it definitely includes a lot of creativity, and so just a lot of different solutions to different problems that I'm trying to solve. And so I just want to include God in my day-to-day, not just in my prayer life, and make sure that at the end of my life, that I didn't climb the wrong ladder. Even though I made it to the top of the building, I want to make sure it was the right building. So that's something that God's been speaking to me, and I'm just so glad. I love it when my devotional lines up with the word at church, and the word at church lines up with the devotional, and then it lines up with what people start bringing up in conversations, and just everywhere you go, none of it's connected. Nobody knows whatever you're talking about, and it's just like God invented the marketing tool that Facebook uses, because you might say something, but then whenever you go to open your app, there it is, and that started with God. You know what I mean? God was the first marketing.
Did that first with the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. So I love that, man. It's so exciting. If you don't know what that's like, because I think a lot of people love God, they really have a heart for the Lord, like a sincere heart for him, but they don't know what it's like to really be in tune with his voice and hear from him often. And then the only time, I know we all fall into this, even ministers, but like, a lot of times it's just like whenever we need something, when we need answers, direction, for our life, we go to him and we're like real intent on listening. But like whenever you walk and talk with him, something else I'd like to talk about in the future is just the joy and the day-to-day, the fulfillment of just your relationship with God, because it doesn't matter if you're homeless, bro, or in prison, or you're a gajillionaire. Like, at the end of my life, I don't want to have empty ambition. I don't want to feel empty or now. Like whether I'm making $7 or $8, whatever minimum wage is at McDonald's, or making a ton of money, like we can be fulfilled and have this joy and peace in our life. And a lot of that comes just from the bottom line of having that intimate relationship with the Lord. So awesome, I'm being reminded of that. Yeah, man. So, man, I'm good. I think for us to just trying to catch up, I think we ended up stepping into a good show this week.
I believe so too, man. It's always a pleasure.
It was my pleasure.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you. ¿Sabes qué? It's a pleasure talking to you today.
And this episode was brought to you by Voss Water. So, anyway. Listen, we just got to get the
Kim K, man. Anything but Kim K.
I know. We just got to get the audience accustomed to ads whenever we actually start getting paid for them. So so they don't feel like we sell out once we actually start getting paid.
Right. We'll go straight from not having any ads to
like, oh man, the back pew, they sold out. They're profiting off the gospel. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Ethan, it was a pleasure. Erin, thank you so much. This is episode 36. Next week is going to be October. I'm excited about the October/fall vibes. So tune in. Let us know how you feel about
Mental Health Awareness Month.
It can be if we say it is. So the funny thing is no one noticed. Not even people.
I was really waiting for somebody to call us out on Facebook, like, y'all know it's not mental health awareness.
Nah, but it was good. I think that we covered a lot of good ground, and
we'll just not do it in May when it's supposed to be, and we'll just save it for September.
I really thought about it quite a bit because even this week I was thinking about it because I never want to be the person or I don't want to be using our platform for being trendy, especially not off a subject like mental health or suicide, and I genuinely believe I had to check my motives though. I really had to check my heart this week. I was still thinking about the mental health stuff that we did. And I was like, we didn't do it to be trendy. We did it because I think it was important that we comment on the subject. We had Caitlin, and we wanted to expound upon that. And
and there were times that we got into things, just you and I, in other episodes that we didn't really expound on, that we were like, maybe next time, and then we just kind of kept putting it off. And so that was just a good way to get it out, get our thoughts
and for me, one good thing about us having this platform is even with the politics stuff, I think that we get to flesh it out sometimes. Sometimes we don't have the answer, and that's one great thing about being the back pew is we're not really trying to be your educational or your spiritual, source. We're not really trying to be that.
We are your just educational friends.
We're trying to. We're passionate about Christ and certain things, and I believe you're passionate as a listener. So if we can come together and just have enjoyable content together, then great. If we can flesh things out, and that's one of the things we said earlier. We always want to kind of get you thinking about things and getting you to challenge what you believe. So thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, leave a rating and review. We would really appreciate it. Tell a friend. We'll see you next week. Peace.